HR and accounts are generally enemies, but we decided to collaborate and work together to serve our clients.
I think a lot of people ask me these questions. Why you started out so young, look so young?
As a boss, right, you don't really consider the HR function. You are very focused on sales. HR side, one of the very simple one is that, do you know that you need to issue itemized payslip?
So how do you guys like differentiate yourself against others?
Yeah, Daphania, how you differentiate?
Your work is your work, and my work is your work also.
Hi everyone, welcome to Asia Business Owner Podcast, A-Boss for short. With the changing economy, especially after pandemic, do you ever wonder why business lifespan is getting shorter? Do you ever wonder what causes it? Are you one of the business owners who are in the midst trying to figure a way out? Or are you intending to start your own business venture believing that everything will work out but somehow you feel something is missing? Or do you want to start a business however, you do not know what to go for? If you have all these questions on the list that I mentioned earlier or many more that I have not mentioned, then we are here to fill the gap.
I'm Ben.
And this is Joe. Before we start, please subscribe to this channel so that you will not miss any of the episodes moving forward. Today, we are very happy to have Elijah and Daphania, both the bosses from JWC Accounts and HR Services, plus JWC Consultancy, to share their journey of entrepreneurship with us. Elijah and Stephania, can you give the listeners an introduction about yourselves and who takes care of what business before we dive into the questions?
Sure. Maybe let me start first. My name is Elijah. I actually work in in-house HR for a period of 20 years. So but I study IT in the beginning lah. So don't ask me how I get there. But probably if you have a cup of coffee with me, then maybe I can share more of you. So over the 20 years of experience in HR, I started from a HR generalist, eventually venture into business partnering, and my last career before I set up my own entity, I actually specialize in talent acquisition in a MNC. So over the years, I also gotten my IHRP certification in the senior professional area. So so working together very closely with Stephania, I oversee the HR functions of the company. And just a very interesting things to share also. HR and accounts are most of the companies are generally enemies, but we decided to collaborate and work together to serve our clients. So yeah, that's about me.
Okay.
Daphnia,
Hi, I'm Daphania here. So basically, I have more than a decade years of experience, going 2 decades now. Yeah. So basically, I also work in the corporate world, for a decade years before I coming out to do and set up this business for 4 years already this year. Yeah. So basically, I also major in accountancy and CPA. Yeah. So basically, for us, for myself, why we come out to do, you can share more later on how we started the journey. I think a lot of people ask me these questions. Why you started out so young, look so young? Yeah, so you can chat with me if you want, PM me for more informations. Yeah, so basically, Elijah will head the JWC Consultancy. We have a recruitment agency firm. And for myself, I'm doing more towards the JWC accounts in terms of the accounting, corpsec, and tax. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Elijah's mentioned that HR and accounting are enemies, right? And so what makes you all decided to come together then?
Okay, maybe enemy is a too harsh a word to use. Maybe I rephrase. We have people of different mindset. Yeah, but I guess HR and accounting functions are basically the pillars of the organization, because you cannot function properly or advance properly without these two functions in the company. So we feel that at the end of the day, both of us we have that expertise, and we feel that a lot of SMEs they do not really have the expertise in this area, because as a boss, right, you don't really consider the HR function. You are very focused on sales getting the business running and all. So I think that's why we feel that accounts, when you come in as a compliance, you also need a value-adding HR service to help the company to see potentially in the future how the company can scale up. So that's why we come together and we feel that maybe you can provide some value add to the companies in this sense. Yeah. Maybe Daphnia has different thoughts. Maybe
Okay,
he still consider me as an
my,
enemy.
ask these questions. For these two enemies, accounting and HR, which one do you think that weigh more heavier in a corporate company?
Ladies first, ladies first.
I think it really varies because people is important in terms of the HR aspect, and also finance in terms of the company profitability. So these are two important aspects in business. So it works together hand in hand in strategic growth in a company. Yeah. So basically both are important. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But
they
just
are
to
a couple, not enemies.
yeah. But just to give a reason why we feel that not we feel, but why certain organization feels that we are enemies, because accounting, they hold the budget of the company ma. So they will question a lot about certain things that HR feel that there is potential investment in. So without budget we cannot function that way lah. So sometimes we feel that wow, why some accounts always block our vision and all lah. So I think that's the reason why. But not all organizations are like that, I would say. So enemy is too harsh a word to use. I think back. So maybe it's different views and different mindset lah. Guarding the companies in different aspects of our profession lah.
So
That would be better.
am I right to say that account is more on numbers, HR is more on human?
Mm, I think numbers is not just numbers. Accounting is more towards structural planning for the business growth. So numbers can bring the company far. Yeah, so it's not just numbers to my aspect lah. But people, maybe Elijah can add on.
Okay. So right now
Yeah.
we talk about challenges. What are the key challenges
Sure.
in accounting and HR structures these days?
Okay. So maybe I can start first.
Yeah.
So actually, AI evolving nowadays, if you can hear more and more AI into automations involved, business actually is catching up with what system to use actually. These are all the challenges, like transitions from cloud accountings and automation, without disrupting the operation is one key thing that many SME is still relying on in terms of changing from the legacy process like manual Excel workflows, but the boss, as a boss, they want real-time information, faster book, month and closing. But the accountant are struggling to, keep up with all the AI automations because they need to do migrations or understanding the AI and what they can do and help them in the business. Yeah, so this is one key challenges for account side. And another one is the cash flow and economic uncertainty nowadays because of the war. Yeah. So there's a rising operation costs, uncertain consumer demands. Yeah. And also delayed customer payment. These are all the trends evolving right now. Elijah's?
Yeah, I think for HR challenges mostly is compliance and how to do it right lah. Because human factor is very complex. Like for example, right, in recent days, you hear about a lot about restructuring, you hear a lot about retrenchment. But these are just terms that they use to help the company to move forward. So one day if a boss come and ask you, hey, Elijah, maybe you help me to just do a redundancy on this group of people. So from a HR perspective, how do you do it right? And if you know that you don't do it right according to the regulations and also considering the fair employment practices in the Singapore, right? Then you get yourself into unnecessary problems because nowadays employees are more accessible to information. And if you know that the employers is not doing right, they'll straight away go MOM. Then your reputation of your company will be at stake. And a lot of hoo-ha that you need to manage lah. So the how to do it right is one of the challenges that people will face, considering also a lot of constant changes. Over the few years, CPF regulation has changed. Interest has the CPF contribution rate has changed quite a fair bit. And if your organization do not have system to keep track of that, do you have competent workers to make the changes? If not, then you get yourself in trouble, like contributing the wrong CPF to CPF. Then you would have to also crawl back by CPFs those amounts that you have contributed wrongly. And on top of that, I think HR view, depending on your organization, a lot of organization view HR as an administrative function. And that limits the ability for HR to be business partnering with the organization. I think in MOM 2026, the HR industry transformation plan, right? There's a very key aspect that HR needs to be a key enabler of transformation, which means to say that HR needs to partner the business to help to transform the business in regards to human resource aspects. And IHRP actually have a research backup that in Singapore, right, 72% of HR functions in Singapore are still very operational. So so the view towards HR needs to change a bit, that you need to view your HR internally as a person, as a function that can help you to partner with your business to move forward in terms of your human capacity, especially with the investment upcoming trend of AI. How do you manage your employees towards and pivots towards the AI? So government now have been talking a lot about job redesign. So how many companies has really adopt this function? To be honest, that really depends on how the organization views this. So I feel that the perspective towards HR needs to change a bit for most organizations. Yeah.
I think generally a lot of business owners, they will see HR as a cost center, right?
Yeah.
So that means they're doing administrative, they're not really generating income per se. So what you're saying is that the partnering part then is basically to transform the cost center into a revenue center instead. Is that right?
Right now, why not? Let's go to Stephania. Whatever that Elijah was saying just now, I think it's also applicable to account as well, isn't it?
Yes, correct. Correct. So in a way, accounting are evolving because of the AI. So there's less and less need for those lower account executive or accounts admins to work in, because their job eventually will be more and more replacing by the AI systems like RPA, etc. that is evolving, that they can just key all these invoices automatically into the system. So there's no need for them in a more and in the years to come actually. So more strategic planning and work and analyzing our work will be needed in terms of our accounting sector. Yeah, it's just
I was saying, I was going online with what Stephania was actually mentioning on just now, is that most of the thing was automated these days. So how does it going to affect your services? Company are more towards automated software that they are going to use.
Understand. So in a way, between software and outsourcing now, how does this company, where the company will eventually still need our services, right? You're saying that. Actually, software is, most company think that they implement the software, it will solve the need for expertise like us. And software automation, can reduce the repetitive work. But actually, it can't solve the complex issues like answering to the IRAS, ACRA, or MOM in terms of the HR spec. So some companies also, they think that these are able to be answered easily, but actually it's not. Because software doesn't help you in answering all these questions and doesn't help you in structure planning for your business or even do complex work in terms of the accounting aspects. Yeah, do you still need a human person to guide you through on various aspects of like how to make your company progress to another level, where to expand, etc. Strategically, planning is things that AI cannot replace for now. Yeah. So yeah, lor.
So this is where the HR come into pictures.
Correct.
So provide the human aspect that able to function for accounting.
Yeah. Elijah's?
Actually, I would feel AI maybe at this stage of time may not be able to do that. But I see a very large potential in AI replacing that. Because some of the AI tools that is used for HR, at least I saw one HR tools that I see is one of the interview screening kind of perspective. So the interview screening, right, they will be able to uh do this like online interview for you. They will be able to assess the person's facial expression. They'll be able to look at the screen of the person to see whether they have used AI to answer those questions. And these are the things sometimes people cannot do one. Like it's very hard to
Yes.
assess unless you have those kind of skill set. So I mean I'm not surprised in the future AI will be a bit more empathetic than people where they
Yes,
start to take
I
on.
do. Yeah, I do think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So that will be a challenge. But I think now AI is not able to fully do that because there's still a lot of hallucination, especially when we deal with compliance and when we deal with all the important things. Where's the accountability? You can't blame AI for giving you wrong advice, right? Like one day you go to court, then wow, AI tell me one. You cannot do that. So I mean you still need a professional person to come in and give you that advice that is catered to your organization. I think the understanding of an organization and giving you that so-called customized consultancy to your organization specifically now still not very strong for AI to give you that kind of answer. Because one of the things that I actually tried, a very simple thing, like how do you calculate prorated payroll for Singapore? I give him that situation. I got the answer wrong. So I educated the AI instead of AI educating me for a period of time because it's not catered to Singapore solely because they get information from Malaysia, they get information from other countries, and AI would just basically hallucinate and give you an answer. And if you're not careful with that, right, you get yourself into unnecessary compliance complication as well because you are not aware how it calculate. Then you don't go to the correct source. Then you let AI give you the answer. It becomes very dangerous to a lot of things, especially when you deal with very high sensitive things. In Singapore, we have fair employment practices. Some other countries don't. So if AI give you the wrong answer, wow, you cannot blame AI for that. You just have yourself to blame without getting a professional to come in. So I think for now, we're not too afraid, but there's certain things that definitely can be replaced by AI. Bookkeeping is one of them. The very mundane task of processing payroll is already done in softwares already. So yeah, it's more of the advisory, the compliance. You still need us to come in and support that. So by outsourcing that entirely to us, it gives you the assurance that things are done correctly in that sense.
do you see the growing trend in terms of the non-compliance in companies?
Growing trend. Growing trend, I never really look at the trend for non-compliance. But I'll say that for most small medium enterprise, when we first started, I think for most organization, they don't really put a lot of effort in looking at this because those will incur instant revenue deduction. You need to pay your professional services to help you to walk through this. And whether it makes sense for very early stage of company to look into this in a very in-depth stage, maybe not, I would say. So they may get themselves into compliance issue without them realizing it because you don't know what you don't know. Yeah. Then when you do it, then people tell you, then you know, wow, I cannot do this one. Yeah. So we see quite a few organizations in the SMEs when we take over as them as our client, we do see that there's quite a bit of non-compliance. For HR side, one of the very simple one is that, do you know that you need to issue itemized payslip? Most company don't. Yeah. And itemized payslip, there's a format that MOM actually says that you need to have this element
It's
inside.
the key employment terms kind of thing, right? It's like
Yeah,
one
private
pager.
is one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the itemized payslip. There's certain things that you need to input inside. So some is basic salary, then they give them, oh, this is your payslip. Cannot, man. Yeah. So yeah, so
There's
this type
still a
of
lot of
compliance.
companies doing that.
Some companies don't issue payslip. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So I mean, depending on the stage of their business and the
Right.
focus of the company, lah. Yeah, really. But we still
But the
see that,
thing,
lah.
so the thing is that accounting and HR services are actually a very competitive industry, right? So so how do you guys like differentiate yourself against others?
Yeah, Daphnia, how you differentiate?
Okay. So actually, if you see our reviews in Google, it mainly says that we are very responsive and speed in actions. Yeah. So we focus on mainly on client experience. Thus, things make us one of the difference in with our clients, other competitors as well. So we also have dedicated accountant for each of our clients. Thus, they will not have to repeat their queries and reach them. Okay, mainly it's because of the reviews that make us differentiate ourselves, mainly because we serve them, with a client experience that they need, like instant reply, from the speed in action replying them, and also the task that they need and the queries that they want us to answer, like some of the queries that they might need help in, we are able to help to answer. So these are some of the reason why other clients will switch over to us, mainly because they also, experience not much, response from the other corporate service provider. So they say that they charge so expensive, but they didn't do anything. So these are the response that I get from our clients so far, And also we also promote a very strong employer brand internally. We don't have any high staff turnover so far in our organization. And thus that's why we are able to deliver, the consistent service to our client. That's why they are able to get, the answers quickly, from our individual
So
accountants.
speed is of essence.
Correct.
Your differentiator.
Yes.
Okay,
So what you're
cool.
saying
Elijah?
that probably
I think-
customers will only engage your service after when they have bad experience with others.
And not just that, because they also trust us in a way. Yeah, because for us, mainly all clients still are with us, for all these 4 years of business. Yeah, because of our so-called the services that we give them, lah, the experience. Yeah, so mainly it's not just the speed of action from other people, but mainly it's also the experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Elijah?
also because
I was
I
sharing
think
around last time, not last time, I mean, these few years, I was working with many companies to help to do market positioning for them with various products and services. And the only question that I always ask them is that, are you able to share with the public within 10 seconds of what you are doing and create curiosities of your company?
Create curiosity.
Yeah, about your company and what you are doing.
So this question is targeted at Elijah's.
10
How
seconds.
do you differentiate? Yeah, how do you
10
differentiate?
seconds. I very lost one. I cannot 10 seconds. Yeah,
we are not looking for an answer today. I mean, basically, this is what I do to train others to understand, how are you able to differentiate yourself and what makes you and your services different from whatever in the market. And I realized that a lot of companies are able to do so. And at the same time, correct me if I'm wrong, Elijah, a lot of candidates who are coming in for interview, they are also unable to differentiate themselves from the mass they're coming in to interview. So mainly when you interview them, I think more or less they seem to be of the same ability and capabilities that what majority are looking at.
Yeah. So it depends. I mean, for the talent acquisition portion, we can share a bit more in details because it depends on the role, to be honest, and whether the company requires the person to be a differentiator. I mean, of course, if you're looking at hiring those more executive and above one, then probably you look a lot into that. And maybe they also have the competency to do that already. But if you're hiring those like rank and file, the blue collar workers, to be honest, right, I just need you to function. Yeah. Yeah. So whether they need to differentiate themselves from others, maybe not so, but as long as you can fit into the company organization and if you are able to fit into the role itself, then probably that would be good enough. So, but I think for us it's different because we are business, so we definitely need to have a bit of differentiator, lah, I would say. So I think at least for now, because we are boutique firm lah, so a lot of things are managed by the founders ourselves. So we kind of ensure the quality and the speed of actions within the organization. It's a bit tougher for bigger organizations, I would say, because you have a lot of stuff to manage. So you need a very strong team leader to manage everything. If that doesn't happen, right, what you'll get is that your people not replying to answers, or they are a bit overwhelmed. They don't have the resources. So there's a lot of factors that causes that kind of disruption towards like people feeling that wow, they never reply me in a short period of time. But for now, I think at least for us, we are still able to manage that aspects to really ensure quality and the speed of action. I think that's one. The other thing is that for a lot of accounting firms, right, they are a bit more focused on accounting incorporation. And I think over the trend, now accounting firms are looking to partner with HR to provide that one suite solutions. But just now we are born with that. We do have the HR and the accounting so-called capabilities at the start of our firm lah. So I think that gives us additional advantage. Give you an example. One of the companies, right, accounting firm, they help these clients to actually wanted to transfer from a sole proprietor to a private limited. So one mistake he made was that it wasn't done well. The workers were not transferred properly. And what happened is that all their foreign workers are suspended. Like their work pass totally cannot work anymore. Imagine a manufacturing which is very high in dependent on foreign workers to perform the blue collar work. Suddenly lost all their work permit holders instantly. It caused a lot of company and a lot of revenue damages because their daily functions has been affected. So we come in, we help them to so-called transfer it properly and get it sorted out lah. So I think that's one of the things that people will see that, hey, wow, HR and accounts, maybe we can partner with this firm. Then we don't need to look for two separate firms to manage us in this aspect. So I think that probably will be considered one of our selling points, but we do see a trend now. Accounting firms are starting to partner with a lot of HR, companies to provide these services one suite lah. So it's just nice we are born with that. Yeah.
So do you see an increment in demand for both of your services? Why?
Yes, mainly our clients are all SMEs owners, so they want to stay lean and reduce overhead. Therefore, their outsourcing will help them lah, in terms of like avoid the recruitment and retentions issues internally. That's why I think there's a demand for both of our services. Because if they were to hire a full-time accountant and HR manager, it will cost a lot. Nowadays, the full-time accountant can be, if experienced one, senior will be 5,000 and above, and HR manager also the same, around 5,000 and above. So make up to 10K per month. And I believe that, due to their those business owner limited experience, they will need to hire the experienced one. But in terms of the profitability in hiring and the cost of hiring of these people, they can consider, outsourcing be one of the reason why they want to outsource. Because if they say they hire a admin, executive admins, HR admin, they may not be able to advise the business owner due to their limited experience. So therefore, the demand for our service is still there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely there will be demand lah. More towards the compliance side of things. Like for example, if you want to have a company incorporated in Singapore, and if you are a sole director, you definitely need a company secretary. So those demands will definitely be there. It's just whether the firm is visible enough to show up. Hey, we are here, can engage us, and whether we are able to meet the requirements lah. So far, I think for our firm, we have been growing on a year-to-year basis. So I think there's generally a demand ongoing. For HR portion, generally the demand is lower, I would say, because for a solopreneur or for a small company, to be honest, I think they don't focus too much on the HR capabilities for a start. Yeah, and it makes sense entirely. We do understand that as well. But when the firms grow to a bigger scales, then I think you will start to see a bit of HR activities coming in. Then from there, we will try to see whether we can come in and support them in those activities lah. So for some
Do you
companies,
think that
yeah,
AI probably will play an important part these days that affected the employment rate? Because the recent news was saying that a lot of AI mechanism was in place to support
yeah,
solo entrepreneur or any startup, and
yeah,
that actually reduced a lot of human resource need. Yeah,
yeah.
for especially for startup, I would say.
I'll say depending on industry also. Yeah, I think there's one company, right, that runs on all AI agent one. I think it's in China.
Hmm.
So they don't need HR anymore. It's solopreneur. So I would say that it really depends. I think for solopreneurs, like what I say, right, you don't really need a very thorough HR functions within the organization lah. So for some companies, they are able to do it. Like it's quite evident in the news that people are starting to use a lot more AI functions. Yeah, the solopreneurs actually have, I think, don't know how many HR agents to support him in his organization. He's only one person lah. So for that case, I do agree that maybe HR is not really relevant to them at this point in time. Until they might require them to hire staff and manage the resources, then it makes sense because you don't need to do performance appraisal to your AI agent, right? At least, at least I feel don't need lah. Maybe you think need, then maybe need HR lah. You don't need a HR advisor to come in and say how to terminate a AI agent. That one I think also don't need lah. So yeah, I think you're right in saying that it probably will affect. But I think in Singapore there's still a need for HR at least lah. For certain industry, you can't run away without human resources one lah. Yeah.
I will be seeing the trend on a couple of cases, especially when we talk about some solopreneur where they are able to sell their company with zero human capitals at
Mm.
$40 million. And
Mm.
a lot of business activity has changed as compared to before pandemic. So
Yeah.
many actually go online and tapping on the advantage of technology. So human resource, in a matter of fact, reduce quite a few, not quite a few, but it's actually quite a lot. And that actually
Yeah.
created another wave of retrenchment that we see these days.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you won't be surprised to see a one-person billion-dollar business. Yeah, very
Yeah.
soon. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, we will be surprised. And I think after COVID, a lot of people are also exploring the idea of offshore hiring. So that's why the virtual assistant has been growing quite rapidly in the organization. So from HR standpoint, right, we feel that those are unavoidable lah. So I mean those virtual assistants or offshore hiring can also help to make your workforce a bit more flexible. Flexible in the sense like if one day, right, your full-time person has to take a 2 months break, you can manage because you do have this kind of temporary workers, you do have this kind of virtual assistant to come in and cover those 2 months. So it makes your workforce very flexible. So instead of relying fully on your full-time workforce, right, you can adopt this kind of flexible work arrangement for those workers to come in to make your workforce a bit more agile. I think this is something that we are also starting to see. It's just that how to structure this properly, then you need someone to come in and help you to manage that area lah. Yeah. Yeah, you see a lot when people started to leave, then there's a lot of backlogs in between. Then the new person come in, too much backlog, then turnover and all these things. So by having that kind of flexible workforce, it does help a bit organization in these kind of areas. That also means that as an outsourced company, we also see ourselves as that kind of flexi work arrangement, flexible workforce creation in the organization. We do have companies reaching out to us to help them to tie through a period where staff leave the organization. We come in, we support that period, then that's the end of our contract. Yeah, so we also assist in those areas as well. So we do
So
see a lot.
there's this term, right, of fractional CHRO kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Now a lot of fraction one. No need full anymore, fraction one. We feel for a lot of companies lah, because you don't need a full-time hire for that, but you still need that competency to come into the organization. So a lot of fractional CFO, fractional CTO, fractional HR, a lot of fraction lah. Yeah. So see what fraction you want.
This is very interesting. This is very interesting concept, I'm thinking that you can have fractional CFO, you can probably even have fractional CEO as well, right? But how about outsourcing their sales force to outside company? Wouldn't that actually create a risk where when you engage this particular outsource company that doing things for you, but at the same time, they are also doing the same thing for your competitors?
Sales-wise, I don't think they really outsource sales. I mean, there are this sales development representative, those kind of things where they try to get an appointment, but end of the day, the company salesperson will still have to. It's a human touch thing. Yeah.
No, maybe because I do come across company who really outsource the so-called marketing team to do direct sales for them and to promote it in the market and so on. And apparently, I realized that the same team itself promote the same services and products of another company to the public using the same tactic.
And salah already.
Yeah. But I think it's lead generation, right? More towards
lead generation.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so my next question is actually for Daphnia. What is the most common accounting mistakes SMEs in Singapore make that they don't even realize?
Actually, the most common that we face is they treat compliance as once a year, so that they don't want to avoid late fine and penalty. So that's the very common things that SMEs are looking, because they say that SME owner, they will say, oh, I don't need money bookkeeping, I can keep track. Our business is small. We just need to make sure we comply with IRS and ACRA can already. So these are all the common questions and answers they will give us. Yeah. And some of them mix, personal and business finance in. Yeah. Inconsistent expenses taken in. They treat the cash flow as their revenue. Maybe some of them, the cash is for deposits they don't even know, or other revenue from government. Yeah. So they don't look at their account receivable, which is the customer payment, how long the customer owe you money, do you chase them back? So these are we call the account receivable turnover. So they are not keeping track. So these are the main common mistakes that, SMEs are making,
So
which they don't even realize.
At what stage do you think that you will recommend for them to start having an accountant? Is there a revenue that maybe $1,000, $10,000, then they need to start to have an accountant in place?
Okay. So actually, I guess all stages, if they want to outsource. Why? Because in early stage, right, it's more cost effective for them to hire us for their accounts and HR advisory work. So the founder itself, the business owner, can focus on their growth. They can save on, hiring a full-time person, accountant and HR admin, to stay compliant. Yeah. So we can help them and advise them how to grow and what to do. Yeah. But in terms of like SMEs stage, right? I will suggest those who are constantly firefighting, like for example, they cannot finish their work on time. They are late, like what just now Elijah said. They are firefighting, they can't keep track, they can't mainly do and then keep having high turnover rate. So these are things that we can come in for short term to help them in their bookkeeping. Yeah, and some of them, they need us for their digital transformation stage, like migrating of data, for example, from another software, accounting software to another accounting software, they need the data migration help, the operation setup. Yeah, so these are things that we can come in for SMEs. Yeah. So mainly these are the main thing that we can come in for business owner. In terms of revenue, there may not be because it will depends on industry. Some industry revenue is high but low maintenance, but some industries is low revenue but high maintenance in terms of the operation side. So it really depends on the industry. For example, F&B. There's a lot of supply invoice you need to handle, right? But the revenue may not be as much as a consulting firm, whereby they have a lot of revenue but low maintenance, not much operation expense. Yeah, so these are the differences. We cannot base on revenue guide. Yeah, correct.
What about Elijah? Is that what is the most common mistakes that SME in Singapore in
Mistakes,
terms of the HR aspect?
Yeah, I think for SMEs more towards payroll, because payroll itself is I mean if you have very basic components then it's easy to manage. But you have like over time you have calculations of incomplete month, you have like other weird incentive and all these things, whether they are CPF they attract CPF or not, then you need someone to really walk you through that. I mean, at least do refer to CPF website because I think I think the thing about Singapore is that the information is very transparent. Unlike other countries, right? When you try to search for their legal compliance, right, for labor laws and all this, is very hard to find. But MOM, CPF, IRAS, I think is very readily available. You can call them. Sometimes you get a different answer though. But at least you know where to find the information. And that
Different
is
officer, different answers.
yeah, can say, cannot say, can lah. Yeah, sometimes different answer lah. But those are a bit more gray one. But the more straightforward one is pretty in line lah. At least you know that. Because in you also have additional wages. You also have ordinary wages. How do you differentiate that? And if you're not careful, right, you might basically classify them in the wrong term. So I think for a start, at least you need to do that due diligence to check lah. Other than that, it's more towards like basically whether you got issue. The more complex portion is probably the Foreign Manpower Act, where a lot of us or companies smaller scale they tend to hire foreigners because of the differences in the salary. And I think now they are saying that foreigners are more hungrier than Singaporeans, right? I think that's this term.
Big hoo-ha.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think because of that, then you need to understand the Foreign Manpower Act a bit more in details, like what kind of insurance you need to cover, whether you need to cover for your workers' medical upkeep. Do you know that? And that also varies from industry to industry, because for various industry, then you need to onboard them certain MOM platforms and all these things. So that becomes very complex. And if you are not having that ability to do that yourself or to do your due diligence yourself to check what is needed, right? Then I think it's advisable for you to just reach out to a HR consultant just to advise you and walk you through. Because we recently had one case, medical insurance, right? You need to cover workers, right? So medical insurance is on a year-to-year renewal basis. So this person actually says that, I don't need to renew, don't need, because people are not renewing. But it's not right. Well, if this worker get into unnecessary medical condition, then you will bear the risk of paying that yourself. Yeah. So a lot of these things we need to educate the small medium enterprise on. HR is very wide. So there can be a lot of mistakes that employers themselves don't even realize. So but the common mistakes are basically payroll, because those are your day-to-day. Other than that, it's just the way you treat your staff, whether is it fair, whether can or not, all these things lah. Yeah, then that one is a bit more gray. So that is when you get different answers from different officers lah. Yeah.
So would it be a good idea to have HR as a partner so that you can take care of the back end while the other partners focus on sales?
Yeah.
For most companies.
I think they have to see HR as a important aspect of their business, like what I say. Yeah. Because if they don't see that as a importance in their company, they feel that it might not make sense to pay that amount. Yeah, or to even engage a partner to support them in the HR. Yeah.
So
So
actually, you're in
because
the education business.
kind of lah, kind of lah, kind of lah. But whether people want to hear is another thing lah. Yeah, lor.
In
Yeah.
fact, I think
So
we should talk to the institutions one day to invite various parties of us coming together in terms of HR, accounting, and business management as well as sales. For any you grad who intend to come to start up their own business, probably that would be a very good handy knowledge for them. And
yeah lah, yeah lah. We will love to do that lah. Just to support each other lah. I think we are also running business, so yeah, helping fellow business partner to reach there. I think yeah, that's what we feel that we need to do lah. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, now the question come back to Stephania again. While we are talking about AI and IT kind of things, in your experience, when does software feel a business?
When it fails to give the business what they want to see in their reporting, finance, we need to do a lot of reporting works. So if let's say the software cannot support us in creating the reports that we want, then in short, we need to manually do all the work. Then this software cannot use. Yeah, so basically, yeah, software is important for us if let's say we are handling a lot of transactions in the company. Let's say it's a big SMEs, we have a lot of things to do, and yet the software cannot do what we want, then we don't need to use the software at all. Usually, these are what is very common actually. Last time when I work in big MNC, they want to know, okay, this I want to know what is the wastage. Example F&B wastage report. But this software cannot produce. I need to manually go and do all the Excel work and give the management the reportings that we need. Yeah. So this is one thing that is very important for accountant like us to have the software in place that can solve our issue instead of we solving the problem as manually, without using a software.
Okay, is there any kind of companies should not rely purely just on software?
Any type of company that don't rely solely on software. I believe this one should be company like us because we advise, we do a lot of expertise in the advisory work. Software does not replace accountability, especially governance, and as well as the expert review. So if you let's say you ask software, like just now Elijah said, ask the software to do something and give a different answer, etc., and not giving the right answer, so we will fail completely in terms of our compliance work, and we need to know what we do. Yeah, because we have all the expertise in terms of like our certification, our studies, education. So these are all applied knowledge that we need to come in to guide our customer lah. So these are companies that cannot rely purely on software. Some companies like construction, like healthcare, like education, they need their own expertise also. In terms of healthcare, you cannot use AI to ask, okay, this person got these symptoms. What is the symptoms? I used ChatGPT before to ask about symptoms. They give me different answer. When I go to the doctor, they give me the correct answer. So, you cannot just rely on software to do this work. So they still need the person expertise. Yeah. Like all this.
So if that's the case, right, is there a simple way, right, to tell if
Mhm.
your accounting system is healthy or at risk?
Simple way to tell whether the accounting system is healthy or at risk. Like for example, if it's healthy when the regulators like IRAS and IRAS come to you, for information, you can quickly access to your management report. So this is very healthy because they already know what they have. They already know their cash flow is healthy, they are predictable, what is their management revenue, the turnover revenue for this year. Yeah, so this is very healthy because they already know what they want. But what if it's at risk is when they feel that they have last minute filing stress. So actually these are all the common SMEs that come to look for us.
It's like 临时抱佛脚, is it?
Yes, correct. So things are very messy and all over the place. When people ask you for your company health growth, you cannot answer them. You can just give them an estimate instead of a real-time information. So these are things that you can see lah. yeah, that
What
company.
about
Coming,
what
yeah,
what about
coming to the
Elijah? Is that
no, I think coming to the point of
Mm.
predicted revenue can be quite tricky these days because a lot
Yes.
of external factor and event that happen definitely will affect a lot of company in terms of their so-called target revenue or predicted revenue.
That's why money bookkeeping is very important. You're able to get the real-time information of your data. Like now it's May, we're able to get out to April to get what we want, or even real-time information like out to now, 8 May, of what we have in terms of the revenue. So it's very important when sometimes client ask me, should I just do monthly or quarterly or yearly or half yearly? So usually I will give the answer. If you want to know exactly where your business is going and what you want your business to grow, of course you want to go it in monthly. Do it monthly and real-time information so that, in times like this, uncertainty, you're able to know where you are in terms of a company growth and not, wait until last minute, until year end. Then you see, this year I'm not doing well. Then it's too late to change anything because it's already over. Yeah.
Then shouldn't it be daily?
Daily, yeah, of course you can engage us daily, then you outsource the accountant, no? Like, the outsource the full accountant, then the person will be there for you to answer all the queries every day. Yeah. So it really depends on what the customer needs. Then yeah, 一分钱一分货 lah, I can say.
Hey, I got a question for both of you.
Yeah.
You know that our government have been encouraging entrepreneur, SME, right, to go for AI kind of technology. Will you guys be tapping on to AI technology for your services?
Maybe Elijah, you start first.
I think, yeah, we just have this conversation with some of our friends because one of our friend is considered AI engineer, AI developer. So we are asking him like definitely is one thing that most or if not all organizations should consider. But the thing is that whether we are adopting AI for the sake of adopting and whether it fits the organization objective. Lah. Because when I was having this discussion with my friend, right, he's saying that actually what you need might not be an AI. Like. What you need may just only be a RPA just to automate certain processes within your organization. And by adopting AI for the sake of adopting AI, right, you may be underutilized and overpaying what you need to lah. So I mean the questions about adopting this whether to digitalize your company, I think that is definitely a must because if you are not moving towards that trend, a lot of things you will be losing out because you'll be losing out of your productivity against your competitors. You'll be losing out a lot to your competitors. But whether or not you really need an AI to do it, right? The understanding is still very shallow for us. Even for myself, right? AI is a very big term. But what does AI really do, right? To be honest, I think that it do want everything lah. But actual fact maybe not lah. So by educating us as a entrepreneur or educating us what AI can help the organization, I think that will be a better way moving forward. Because we are just adopting AI for the sake of adopting AI law. Then you underutilize everything. For example, I think firstly we tried ChatGPT, right, Daphnia? Then we really underutilize. We adopt only we pay money subscription. Then we never really thought about the use cases that it can help us until recently where we start to engage a bit more, try to find out a bit more. Then it started to make sense to the organization. But in the initial phase, we just pay for the sake of paying. Like people using it, pay for. Then we can also say we use ChatGPT ma. Yeah. So yeah, I agree that we need to adopt and mix that changes, but whether or not it really makes sense to your organization, you really need to re-evaluate as an organization. Do you really need that? Yeah,
I
that's
think
my take.
Okay.
overall, in terms of the AI thing, I believe that the machine data is not there yet because they are still collecting all the data. I think the data is not is enough for us to get the correct data because they are still learning. Machine data is very big, in terms of that, because both of us study IT in our diploma, so roughly we know a bit about IT side. Actually, AIs, all these are all more towards like collecting data, analyzing the data, etc.
You
So
can
it's
train your own machine. Yeah.
correct.
You
So,
can train
but
your own AI. Yeah.
correct. So, but the AI is not so much information yet. They cannot do all sector yet, industry yet. So you cannot just rely on the AI to do your work. You still need to
Yeah.
use some of the things that you have for your experts to do it. So I believe we still need to wait for a while more.
Yeah. But within the organization, we have been using certain AI software as a service to automate some of
RPA,
our
Mm.
bookkeeping
yeah,
processes and all.
correct. So,
I think those really help us, right, to towards two areas. One is the efficiency of our workers. Secondly is also that we can minimize the headcount in our organization.
yeah.
Because for most organization, manpower cost is the highest, at least for our service industry. So I think it really benefit us in such a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are constantly checking out all the AI or things that we can use so that we do not tax our staff more. They are too taxing, then the turnover rate is high. I also an accountant, so I know where they do and what they are doing. So I do not want them to be so taxing and then so unhappy in the organization. So these are things that we are constantly evolving to go out and get to know more about the system. So we have been attending talks in AI conference, etc., to understand, what are things out there that can help in our organization. So I think business owner will also need to go out there and find out more to help your business to expand and grow. And yet at the same time to also look at your internal processes in terms of your stakeholders, your employee, all this. What are your supplier using? What is your customer using? That, sometimes if you want to get government projects, you need some criterias, to get it. So these are things that you need to look at, as a business owner to grow your business. So
I think
AI
that's a
is
good
still needed.
advice. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a very good advice to all the business owners out there. So
correct.
go there and learn, and then
Yes.
adopt it. Yeah. Okay, so just now, Daphnia, you mentioned that your company has very low turnover. So I'm just
Mm,
curious, in terms of leadership, right? What are both your philosophy in leading your
mm.
team members?
Okay. For me, it's more emphasize on teamwork in accounting. Yeah, because why? I used to be an accountant in a company in a corporate world, so I understand teamwork is very important in terms of like as a team. When you work together, you want to get things done. Why you come to work? You want to get things done, and deadline is very important in our industry. So the compliance, the deadline we have to meet. And if let's say they have all the responsibility in terms of my people, each of them will take care of a few clients, a group of clients they are taking care of. But sometimes the group of clients they may have a same deadline to meet and they can't finish the work on time. So but other accounting team they may not have the deadline now. So my philosophy is make sure that everyone help one another, even though it's not your work. People help you, and then next time when you need your other people help, they will come and help you. So this is things that I always emphasize in our team to have the teamwork. Another thing is to play.
It's like a reciprocal kind of thing that you're looking at.
Yes, correct. So that they are able to be happy as well because they get the responsibility to help. They have the responsibility to help each other in terms of the work. And then
Oh,
this
teamwork.
will teamwork. And then one thing I will give them will be got one time they rush until so madly that they really OT for me. I give them a half day time off, for everyone, even though it's not holiday season, so that I believe in, reciprocating, and then they can reciprocate back their work, for me as a as a business owner lah. Yeah. So
Hey,
play hard, work hard.
since you mentioned this, Daphne, I just want to have these questions to ask you. Do you ever come across team member who have this mindset thinking that your work is your work and my work is your work also?
My work
Wow,
is your
team.
Wow,
Your
my
work is
work
your
is
work, my
your
work is your work.
I got no word lah. 我冇代志啊。
yeah, because we have a KPI to meet, ma. We do give our the workers KPI to meet in order to get bonuses. So you cannot say my word is your word, then my client is your client, your client is your client also. Yeah, so they have their own responsibility. You know, accountant, you have they will tend to, okay, I need to do finish, deadlines to be met. But in a way, the remuneration, I mean, is important as well, for them. So of course, 向前看, work towards the money. Of course, they will go and do for me all the things that are needed lah. Yeah. So, and every week we'll have a check-in. Daily, every week check-in so that we can check in how are they in work. Do you need any help? Yeah. So this is very important because the check-in will also make sure that deadlines are met and also to make sure that clients reply, etc., so that they will not face work alone. So these are things that, as a owner, business owner, you also need to keep track to make sure your people are healthy and your clients' accounts are healthy. Yeah, so these things that my philosophy lah, in terms of
Cool.
leadership in leading my
What
team.
about Elijah?
I think we empower them quite a bit lah, to manage their own time and all. So, in terms of work-life flexibility, we do ensure they still have life, in spite of work. But I think one of the things that we did was also to ensure that the team quality is there. Because once the team we have given them certain roles and responsibility, right? If a team member is not able to deliver, right, then the rest of the teammate will be impacted because now the workload will be shared among the rest who can deliver. So we make it a point that if we feel that one employee is not able to meet the company culture of performing in certain extent, right, that will involve other teammates to cover for that person, not because of once-off reasons, but it's because of his or her competency issues like slow and not able to manage this on time and all these things, right? We would tend to remove them early lah. So in fact, we have actually done a termination to one of the staff because he or she is not performing. We have done a PIP, performance improvement plan, not for the sake of removing her, but for the sake of a lot of times PEP is a negative connotation. But we believe that PIP is there to give the employees a second chance to see that whether you are able to still fit into the company organization. And we make it clear to her that you need to have these deliverables, which is actually part and parcel of your job role. And after about 3 months, she's still not able to keep up. So we told that unfortunately we have to release you. So by doing that, right, what you are ensuring is that there's no one in the company that leech on one another. And that is very essential because when you have very good staff working for you, then you have someone like leeching and they are still getting paid. They are still getting the same benefits as the organization. You create a sense of like, wow, this person can get the same benefit by doing less than me. Why not I also do less? Once you have that kind of mentality in your team, right, your company culture become very a bit not right already lah. So your whole thing cannot progress with you. So I think we are quite sure to check in on them. Hey, how are things? If you're overwhelmed, how can we support you? Do you need additional employees? If it is reasonable and it makes sense, we'll hire and we'll make plans to make it so that we can grow together as a company. I think that also partially helps retain our staff, to give the staff confidence that the employers are still thinking about your benefit. Like what Daphnia say, right? If you are doing overly for the organization, the company will also reward you based on that. Yeah.
Okay, one last question, sir. The same question that I asked Daphnia just now, which we turn the table around to business owner, which is your job is your job. My job is also your job. Do you think that many business owners have this kind of mindset?
My job is my job.
Your job,
Very
as
chim.
a business owner, I feel that my job is your job is your job. Something like that, is it? Or so business owner got no job in that sense. Are you on that basis, is it?
I come across a couple of candidates that I used to interview, and they make these comments like that. Most of the times, aside from the job that I'm doing, I'm also doing the job that my boss will be doing.
Oh,
That's the reason
Oh.
why they actually leave the company.
Then you take the boss pay also, lah.
No, that's
yeah,
not what you mean.
I
That's
know,
My
not
I
pay
know.
is your pay.
Yeah, I do hear like some employees who is employed under PA, then they do their boss personal task one lah. Yeah, so I feel that I think we really need to define the job description properly lah, as a HR, that when you come into this position, what are your roles really? You cannot add this line called, I think it's very common, any other duties as instructed by your manager. Always JD always got this line, right? Then that thing become very vague already. It means you are literally can do anything one. So for job interview, I think for first hand, we really let the employees, potential employees, know what their job really entails, and potentially what is the additional things that they may support. So if there's any additional on top of that, we will always discuss with the employees to see how is it lah, and we try to restructure accordingly. But by having that your job is your job, then my job is also your job, is a very I mean, if you were to, I would be at that shoe, right? I also leave the organization. Wow, 什么东西都做 everything also do then not fair to me. I still pay that specific amount. If you increase my salary, maybe yes lah, you give me the option to do that. But if you know, then how come everything I'm doing? So employees will also have that kind of perspective lah. That's my thought as a HR lah. I don't know, Daphnia, what do you think?
I think that if let's say business owner let me do his work, then how about when I learn more from you already, then I come out do another business of yours and then create the same business and I do all the BD work and then I get the more pay and more revenue in terms of the earning and come out to do my own business since I can set up my own instead of you keep getting the pay and not giving rise, etc. like what Elijah said. So I think there's a risk also if let's say you give your employees all the things that you are doing as a business owner. So you have to keep a line across to know where you stand. Yeah, because I heard a lot of accounting firm they do not the business owner do everything they give the BD to do the sales. Then the BD in the end come out to do his own. Yeah. So there is people there's risk lah of businesses that you let go and not being the leaders to be the owner of the company, to be the owner of the business, to keep yourself a benchmark aligned where you stand as a business owner versus the employee where they stand. So this is very important as a business owner. Some things that you need to take note of. Because if you empower more to your staff, the people may ditch on you sometimes, some days, yeah.
But I think you also created some business risk. Like you let the person do a lot of your job, right? Then eventually that person becomes very irreplaceable or difficult to replace person. I remember one time, right, when I was doing so much things, then my CEO came to me and said that, do you know you have now become very irreplaceable? Like it's
Which is
very
a good
hard
thing
to
or a
replace.
bad thing?
To me, it's a good thing lah, because I can use that as a as a cut ma. But I mean, to the business, is it a good thing? Maybe not, because now the business largely depends on one person lah. So it depends on what you entrust the person to do, but it shouldn't be everything lah. Yeah,
Correct.
I mean,
So
for a
no,
start, for
there's this
small
notion.
medium enterprise
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
There's this notion. Nobody is indispensable.
Yeah. But there will be somebody which is a bit hard to replace lah. A bit hard to.
In a matter of fact, this topic about your job is your job and my job is your job is a very deep topic to discuss lah. Okay, so if you look at different angles, okay, yes, just a quick brief one to share is that from business owner point of view, when I pass or should I or I detail some of the job for you, which apparently is my job, is because I intend to do some other job that apparently able to help the company to grow further. However, I think it should come along with certain benefit that whoever
Yeah.
are taking on your job, so that they will
Yeah.
not have any misunderstanding like why should I take on the job with extra burden and there aren't any kind of benefit that can come that come along. Yeah. So in between okay, job in between the boss and the employee or the team member, I don't think that good relationship is only one of the factors. I think we have to get real lah, okay? So sometimes the effort have to tie on with the monetary or some benefit that can actually tag along.
Yeah, correct. Or maybe give some
I have
share.
another thoughts lah. I have another thoughts between my relationship with my wife lah. So her pay is her pay. My pay is her pay.
That one different. That one your contract different. Your JD very different. Your JD is to die for your wife. Yeah.
Okay. I think we can discuss this topic separately next time, yeah, to create a panel on this. Then before we end this topic, do you have anything to share with the audiences?
Okay,
Maybe
I think
that.
yeah, strong business, right, actually is not just built through sales now, actually, but overall in and out of the business process. Internally you need to have a strong SOP, a strong leadership that hates the company. The stakeholders you need to please, the stakeholders in terms of your customers, your suppliers, your shareholders, and even your own employees. But externally, in terms of external side, you also need to look at the legal political process of the changes taken place by government, all the policy in place, what is the changes. And also you need to look at, the supplier out there. Are they increasing price, etc.? Any other suppliers that can take over, if let's say increase price, yeah. And also your customers, like what type of customers are coming in, and what are the customers that you need, and also in terms of competitors, what are your competitors trend right now? Are you able to compete with them in terms of the basis of competitions? All this you need to look into in terms of maybe the company SWOT analysis. Yeah. So I think this one you need to take note of. And also of course the strong leadership is important. Business owner need to be very strategic in their business planning so that they can go far. So for us, how can we come in to help you all is that outsourcing is one of the strategy work that you can look into, for your business to grow. If you need any, then you can just let us know. Yeah.
How about Elijah?
Yeah. I think for me, for those entrepreneur out there, it's really a very challenging journey lah. So, because there's a lot of competition, but in Singapore, I feel that the government is there to support organization to grow. A lot of things you may find challenging yourself, like compliance. Wow, there's so much to learn. Don't take it upon yourself. I think there are a lot of association out there in Singapore to support you in those initiatives where you can just network with fellow business owners to really share thoughts and impart certain things among each other. So don't do this alone. Try to get yourself like-minded people which you can share challenges, struggles together. And I think lastly, don't do everything by yourself. And if you have the capability and resources, and if you feel that this time is you really need to get things right, don't need to really potentially reach out to us, but try to find a trusted service provider where you can help to get your compliance right and grow the business together with you. I think that will help you a lot because now you have a so-called quote unquote advisor to just walk you through the different stages of your business life. So by having that in place, I think it makes your journey a bit more tolerable. And once you scale up, then I mean, tolerable is the word to use, right? But I think you will find fruits as you really continue to labor in this. So don't give up. I think just 加油 and find someone you can partner with to walk you through this journey with.
Well done, good advice. Did you read Ben's book before coming on this podcast?
No, leh.
Yeah, because that's his philosophy. It's like never do it alone.
Yeah, Liverpool fan. Never walk alone. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so just very curious, between the two of you, who is the stronger leader here?
You guess?
Stephania, you guess.
What do you think?
If you ask this question, it should be you already, huh?
I think, Joe, we'll leave the selection for the audience to choose, lah.
No price,
Okay,
no price.
yeah, so before we go off, it's like where can people find you guys? It's like, are you on LinkedIn or any socials? Or
Yeah,
how should people contact you?
we do have our website. It's called jwc.com.sg. You can just research or even find our name, JWC Accounts and HR Services on Google. You're able to reach out to us from there. And from the website, you can straight away come to us for any inquiries and any questions that you need from us. LinkedIn, you can search our name. Actually, you can just straight away find us.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright.
Like should be quite unique to differentiate.
Yeah, it is. All right. So thank you so much for your time today. And for all the listeners out there, please subscribe to this channel so that you'll not miss any of our episodes moving forward. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.